The Shimoli Crime Family, Dad Edward Shimoli, shot in 2007 by police after 14 murders, 88 rapes and countless violent robberies. Son Leon Shimoli, killed yesterday by police in broad daylight after robbery, daughter Fazia Shimoli, still in the game in Jericho.
Tonight, on Kenya's Most Wanted, he confessed to 14 murders, 88 rape incidents, countless bank robberies, carjackings and drug deals. Police described him as a cunning, elusive gangster. Edward Shimoli ventured into a life of crime at the age of 20 and later will become Kenya's Most Wanted.
That was a very peculiar character type of a psychopath.
So all of a sudden nikaona ameingia kwa baa, watu wamenyamaza.
Wakaanza kumbongesha ati atoke kwa keja asarende.
Police said Edward Shimoli was more dangerous than Bernard Madheri, alias Rasta, Gerald Munyeria Wambogo, alias Wanogo, and Anthony Kanagi, alias Oshosho, who were described by former police commissioner Shadrack Kiruki as Kenya's top criminals in August 1995. Born Edward Shimoli on the 17th of May 1968, Shimoli came to Nairobi from Butere, Western Kenya, and went to school at Jericho Primary School. He later will join Jericho Secondary School in the same neighborhood.
Then mtu alikuwa na like fun sana kwa chuo, mtu apenda jokes, anapenda game, yani game kama alikuwa like vitu kama mbio hivi, ana like vitu creative, to create vitu unaweza create kama art nini.
Growing up in this tough neighborhood, Shimoli later married Shakila Mohammed and had 4 children, 2 boys and 2 girls in this 4-bedroom house.
Alikuwa like yani madem yani kama sasa ni title tulikuwa nayo ya kushoani tuko juu.
In the 90s, Shimoli had bogus ID cards in the names of Philip Opio Ouma and Osman Arab Songok when he was baptized into the world of crime. But his shocking catalogue of crimes earned him the name the Kenyan Carlos the Jackal, after the infamous Venezuelan self-styled professional revolutionary whose real name was Ramirez Sanchez, who left a trail of murders in the 1970s and 80s before being seized by French agents and jailed for the rest of his natural life in 1997.
Shimoli was somebody who would do all kinds of things undercover. He was a very secretive criminal. But the minute he is caught, he would cooperate. He would even tell the police where the firearms are.
Growing up in this Jericho neighborhood in the 90s, Shimoli was toughened by the environment and became a steely individual who had to have his way in life. Friends described him as the kind of person on whose toes you did not want to tread.
Maybe kuna mtu fulani tu anamchokoza. Yes, mtu ati umchokoze akaya cheki. Ni alikuwa anakuona. Inabaki sasa ukikam vile unamuona ukikam zaidi inabaki sasa anakuona na kuambia wacha nini, ana try kushow wachana na mambo nini. Sasa hapo sasa ikakuwa yeye ni mtu no nonsense, yani apendi fala ya mtaa ya ujinga hapa na pale.
This was his favorite hangout joint whenever he didn't feel like going out, just a few meters from his house. He would come here to chill miraa and smoke marijuana with his friends. He called it Fallujah, an acronym borrowed from a city in Iraq where the US and the British forces held an offensive in 2004. Whether it held any significance to his clear chosen path is not known. He was not good in physical fights. His childhood heroes were John Rambo and Arnold Schwarzenegger. He would later borrow a few stunts from the movies in his criminal activities, which worked for some time. In the Eastlands, reggae music is popular, and like many, Shimoli loved the mighty culture song of Bob Marley. It was his anthem.
He was quiet and quite calculative. And of course, very lethal. Because most of his victims are those who could possibly identify him after that.
He was the leader of a gang known as the Dream Team. Their creed was never to rob anyone from their neighborhood, but anything outside that was acceptable. In early 2000, police declared Shimoli the most dangerous villain on Kenyan soil. His crimes read like a thriller. Emerging rappers from the Eastlands idolized him in their music. The name Shimoli became a household name, but this notorious wanted gangster was also a study in contrast. As police were busy looking for him, neighbors would frequently go to him for help if they were robbed, and their goods will be returned promptly.
Jia alikuwa na stop crime ya petty crimes, hizi za keja, kubreak keja nini, na ungesanyiwa umkute, umwambie ama asikie ulisanyiwa kama TV yako fridge. Alikuwa anakuja na kuuliza, na alikuwa anahakisha amekuchunguzia juu alikuwa nikawa anajuana. Anashikao, anaweka down, anawaambia rudisha by 24 hours, wako amerudisha hizo vitu. Na amini kwa zinarudi.
The young man from Ofafa Jericho in Nairobi's Eastlands area was only 20 years old when he ventured into a life of crime right after high school. Edward Shimoli was good at his job and got away with his outrageous crimes most of the time. But even when the arm of law did catch up with him, he smoothly slipped through their fingers. He left a trail of murders, rapes and robberies and seemed to possess the cat's proverbial 9 lives. Next week on Kenya's Most Wanted.
Kidogo katika hiyo harakati ya kustuka ikakuwa ala ni yeye. Mimi nikaingiza baridi juu zile nomanshaskia zimefanyika.
Tonight on Kenya's Most Wanted, he confessed to 14 murders, 88 rape incidents, countless bank robberies, carjackings and drug deals. Police described him as a cunning, elusive gangster. Edward Shimoli ventured into a life of crime at the age of 20 and later will become Kenya's Most Wanted. Kenya's own Carlos the Jackal was the face of terror for years, and he loved his gun, a Taurus pistol. Before his confession of killing 14 people, 88 rape incidents, countless bank robberies and drug deals, he was on the police watch list in early 2000 when they declared him the most dangerous villain on Kenyan soil, and a team of detectives was constituted to hunt him down.
This was a different type of person who actually derived pleasure from appearing harmless.
But to neighbors, Shimoli was a hero, a friend, and a very generous man who often had nice surprises for those he met.
So all of a sudden nikaona ameingia kwa baa, watu wamenyamaza. Kidogo nikashindwa, kwani kunyamaza yote ni gani? Best yangu akanigonga mguu hivi, akanishoniaji, waoni ule ni Shimoli amekaa pale. Amekaa mkoba. Kidogo katika hiyo harakati ya kustuka ikakuwa ala ni yeye. Mimi nikaingiza baridi juu zile nomanshaskia zimefanyika jo. Mpaka gauge ile nilikuwa nimekunywa nilikuwa nasikia nikaa imeshu. All of a sudden ndio huyo amebaia kila mtu kwa hiyo bar.
In 1996, Shimoli had a close shave with the blazing guns of the police. He escaped death narrowly when policemen chasing his gang shot dead an accomplice near Safari Park Hotel on Thika Highway. This is after they made away with more than 5 million Kenya shillings from Bank of Baroda on the Kenyatta Avenue, Banda Street in July that year. He was also an unapologetic ladies' man.
Unajua kama mtaa wanasemanga mademu like chapa, like fame, uko juu, wewe ndio title sahi, unaona. Mimi nadhani sasa like your title, ganji, nini. Hizo ndio vitu zao ziko zina wavuta karibu, wana enjoy yani.
However, Shimoli never worked alone. His accomplices were mostly the women who were around him. The gangster once said he recruited women because they raised less suspicion.
Wala walikuwa ni madem roho juu. Unaweza do anything, unaweza panga na ihape na iendelee.
In 1996, laying low after a series of bank robberies, Shimoli retired to his home, ostensibly to hatch his next plan. Little did he know that police had an informer who confirmed that indeed Shimoli was in his house in Ofafa, Jericho. They made their first move.
Walikujanga hapa, waka line up, wakakuwa na public address, ila wakaanza kushow watu vile wadozi wale kwa keja walale, wakaanza kumbongesha ati atoke kwa keja asarende. Lakini wakati walikuwa na bonga, yeye alikuwa anajiarrange, akatoka sijui alitoka na backdoor ama aliendaje, lakini alitoka hakumpata.
He was later arrested and went on trial for robbery with violence and murder and was condemned to death that same year. Prison authorities at Kamiti Maximum Prison had an easy time taming the most wanted gangster.
Incidentally, whenever you also went to prison, he would be so well behaved that even the prison authorities don't find it very hard to give him a remission.
Shimoli was in this block for condemned prisoners for 2 years. He staged a dramatic escape one evening and almost chopped off the leg of a prison warder.
He was quiet and quite calculative. And of course, very lethal.
Police mounted a search for Shimoli, and even during this period, with police hot on his heels, he would frequently visit his home, seemingly with ease. One Saturday afternoon, Shimoli is reported to have walked to this market in Jericho and flushed a man from one of the hotels while having lunch. What followed afterwards is an incident that those present at the market on that day will remember for many years. It was a horrific, if senseless, act of killing. The man Shimoli dragged to this open parking was his brother-in-law. 2 days before the killing, a neighbor is reported to have noticed Shimoli sharpening a machete. He used it to hack his brother-in-law to death, accusing him of tipping the police about his criminal activities.
Most of his victims are those who could possibly identify him after that.
Later, he shot his brother-in-law's wife in the back and then disappeared. Life became even more hard after that. Despite his horrible prison record, Shimoli still managed to make friends with police officers during this challenging period when virtually every police officer was looking for him. Next week on Kenya's Most Wanted.
He had no qualms even walking around with his illegal firearms. But hardly would you ever find someone saying that they saw Shimoli with a firearm.